how to access elements of HTML from JavaScript, not just one element but multiple elements. Because the only way at this point, based on the last video, the only way we know is to assign an ID anytime we want to access an element. So if you have a lot of elements to change, then you have to assign an ID for each and every element, which is not a very efficient way of doing things. So the idea here is to use some other means to capture multiple elements at a time, or to access multiple elements at a time and maybe change their content. So that is what we are going to see. So the second button we have here is for that purpose. So let us add a method here. So we can use class name, the CSS class name of an element or of elements to access them. Usually the idea of using class name or tag name to access elements is to get a collection of them, so more than one. When you access by ID at a point, at any time, you will only get one element because ID is unique. But class name is not unique. The reason for writing a class is, for example, all these links will have similar traits in terms of styles. So if you go to the CSS and look for the class A style, there, they don't have text decoration, which means there is no underline. They all have the color purple and they are all bolded. So that is the purpose of why we are having a class as opposed to writing individual styles. And the other reason for using class is the same does not apply to this particular link. Let's go to the page and take a look. There. So if you see, this link is not the same as this link because these three links have a class called class A assigned, and this one does not have that. So it's a smaller font, it is having an underline, so it is like a regular link. So that's the difference. That's the reason why we use links in the first place. So if we want to access only these three links and not all the other links on the page, the common trait is to use the class name here, because in this particular case at least they have class name as the common denominator. So let us see how to do that. Function access elements by class name. So just let's make sure that the names match. Okay. So again, anytime you're using document object model methods, they start with document dot get elements. So that's the second method here, by class name. And then you give here the class name. You do not have to give a dot here. Okay, this is not required. It is only the name of the class. So when you give this, you get multiple links. So you don't get one link, you get multiple links. Okay. So when you get multiple links, then you have to actually loop through them. So think of it as an array. What did we do in an array? You have to loop through it. So I'm going to be using a for statement. So all these arrays start at the location 0 and they go till the length -1. So for example, if your length of the array is 5, so we will go from 0 through 4. So you can use this property length, And then this is very similar to how you would do any array. So links is an array. So links of I will give you the first link in the array, links of 0, link of 1, links of 2, links of 3, so on and so forth. Okay, so you can get the inner text. Then you can write that to console. So I'm just putting a title, so when I have multiple messages on my console log, I know what belongs to which function. Okay, so again, if I reiterate, all document object model methods will start with document dot, because you're getting from the entire HTML document. You're choosing what you want. So here we are picking all the elements by class name, where the class name is equal to class A. And then we have to store it into a variable. In this case, that variable is going to hold a collection. So that the one that we have seen, the collection that we have seen are arrays. So think of arrays. So anytime you have arrays, that is like one name for multiple elements. So that's like a tennis ball stacked on top of each other. So the best way for us to iterate through the array is to use a loop. My favorite loop is the for loop, especially when I know the starting point and the ending point. It is much more intuitive for me to mention the parameters at the beginning like this. So I'm not missing anything. So I'm declaring a variable I equal to 0 because the array starts at 0. The lowest index is 0, the highest index is going to be length minus 1. That is why I'm saying here, till as long as I is less than the length of the array. So here, before this step, let's just do a console.log. Let's write the length here so you can see that. So this would tell us how many links match the class A requirement for class name. And then we are going to step through for identifying and accessing each and every link. You have to use this square bracket, the subscript, and then you have to use the number. So instead of looping through every single one of them, if you want an individual one and you know the number, you can say link 0 dot inner text. So you can write that too. So let's run the code now. So that is going to be this particular one. Let's open the console and take a look. Let's see what's going on. Did I change this one maybe? Okay. So this is misspelled. Let's go and click. Coming into my method. So whenever you write code, make sure that you put a breakpoint and that your breakpoint stops at that place, so you know that this method is first of all getting called. And you also want to make sure there is no error on the top here. If there is an error, you will know there will be a star and then the number of errors will show here. Okay, so I'm going to just let it run through. See, the name is wrong here. It is links of 0. I put link of 0. Let's go to console log and see what worked. So you can see all the messages here. Refresh one more time. So number of links is 3, that's the length. The first link gives me the content of link 1. So here I have access to all the links of the three links on the page that have class name A. I'm not getting this guy here, Google, because I'm filtering what I want by using the class name. So this is how you use class name. Once you access a link, you can modify the content of it at any point in time. So for example here, I can go and say, instead of whatever it is saying, I can say links of I dot inner text plus equal to. So plus equal to is compound representation, or I can make it easier and say equal to, add this plus, just every single one of them is going to say link in the end. I can do that. So before we modify, let's write it, then we modify it. So you take whatever is in the inner text and add link to it and then save it back. The assignment statement, the equal to, is the key to changing the value of any content. Refresh the page, click. Oh, there is an error. See here? That's an error. So let's see what the error is. Again, I used link instead of links. Links. Before, and then if you see the page itself, this is after. So every single link got the letter, the word link at the end of it. So before it did not have it, now it has it. So you can change the content. It doesn't matter how you access the element as long as you know what to change in the element. So um, here is how you process through multiple elements by using the class name. Hope this was helpful.